It's been 165 years since a crowd of anti-slavery demonstrators smashed down the doors of the Milwaukee jail and rescued fugitive slave Joshua Glover. According to the Wisconsin Historical Society, Glover was one of more than 100 escaping slaves helped to freedom by way of Wisconsin between 1842 and 1861. In fact, a mural depicting Glover's story and another highlighting Wisconsin's role in the Underground Railroad spans the walls of the Fond du Lac Avenue underpass at I-43 near downtown Milwaukee. The network of African Americans and whites who offered shelter and aid to escaped slaves is the focus of an interactive event being staged this afternoon and next Saturday on a wooded trail behind Wooded Hills Church in Colgate, 5 miles west of Menomonee Falls. This immersive production breaks down the barriers between actors and audience, putting spectators right in the middle of the action, and calls on them to help a fugitive from slavery escape to freedom. Morning Star Productions' Underground Railroad is our Sunday morning spotlight.
We've done three, and the fourth one is coming up.
During a recent break from biking the trail of the Underground Railroad from Alabama to Canada,
About 50 miles a day.
avid cyclists Linda Koenig and Renee Kurth learned of another unique opportunity to experience this chapter of 19th century American history.
One of the ushers said to me, "There is a wonderful play out at Colgate," and she said, "You have to try to see that."
After receiving instructions,
Things will happen to you, and you guys need to interact with the actors and decide how we're going to figure out the clues to continue on the Underground Railroad.
Renee and Linda embarked on a 1-hour interactive journey. The first costume character they encountered on the Winfield plantation was a school teacher from the north who greeted them with a warning and request.
I've seen Mr. Winfield beat his slaves bloody, for no reason other than to keep them fearful of him. It's a terrible world. That's why we need your help.
We'll be happy to help.
It's a cross between a play, a 9-hole golf course, and an escape room. So you have the puzzles, as you say, you have a mission.
Playwright, actor, and producer Alan Atwood is executive director of Morning Star Productions.
Is that an L again? L, and then,
I'm guessing that's an M. Psalm.
yeah, an M.
Psalm
Psalm
62.
62.
You also have real interaction with the actors instead of just solving puzzles.
It's a map.
You actually can try to persuade people to do things or keep them from doing something, try to change their mind, try to change their behavior.
The map led them to a graveyard. It's where the group met one of the best-known conductors of the Underground Railroad.
Thank you for coming. My name is Harriet Tubman, and I'm on a mission to get my family free. Okay.
Nikisha Reisling plays the role of Harriet Tubman.
Harriet is so well known, and she is a hero, and it was pretty exciting to be able to really research her as a character and learn all the great things that she did.
No matter who you run into, you can always appeal to people's sense of decency. See, folks know in their heart that slavery is wrong. I've seen the meanest slave catcher turn his head and let a slave just walk on by.
Harriet Tubman guided dozens of fugitive slaves to freedom, including family members.
Either get sold down south or you be a slave always. What you gonna do? I wants to be free. Keep this over you, girl.
I want to make sure that people know what happened back then, how people were treated. I also want them to know that if something is going wrong, that it's important to stand up for what is right.
Come on.
A trip on the Underground Railroad was fraught with danger.
Am I gonna die? No, you're not gonna die. I got bit. All right.
The escape route was filled with snakes and slave patrols.
So who are y'all folks?
Sorry?
Who are y'all?
I'm Linda.
I'm Renee.
It's a shame. Y'all look like such nice people. It's a shame that y'all a bunch of filthy abolitionists, a lot of you.
Patrollers were paid to enforce fugitive slave laws.
This lady is a free person.
Really?
Yeah.
And there were those who would risk everything to set slaves free.
Thank you. Come on.
Just to turn around and collect money for them later.
She's just a slave.
She's a person.
No, she's a slave. I got a chance to get a whole heap of money, and I ain't gonna pass it up.
While the long walk north was paved with uncertainty every step of the way,
Are they gonna catch us?
No, they're not.
No.
the loosely organized system of secret routes and safe houses provided a path to freedom thanks to a unified campaign.
Who is he? Can we trust him?
It really was a time when blacks and whites worked together to accomplish this great feat in American history.
Oh my God. What is the cause?
I made it this far.
Oh.
Derek said to calm and be strong.
Well, you got to be strong. Let's go.
Duane Mack plays the role of William Still, a freeborn black who became an abolitionist movement leader.
In all the days of my life, I have been helping.
Mack especially enjoys sharing this history lesson for groups of school children.
To tell kids about the past and to make it exciting, but to let them hear about the compassion, them kindness, and people helping people. That's one of my lines in there. When one reach back and grab and that person gets right, then that person reach back and grab and that person.
Just like these fine folks reach back and help you. When you get to your destination, you reach back and you help someone else. You understand?
I understand.
You know, it's like almost like the theme we understand today, pay it forward.
You get the door, sir.
Back up. When Patty Cannon has a gun, it says back up. You back up.
Mary Rohde portrays the ruthless Patty Cannon.
I really like playing this character in the sense of I'm hoping it opens up people's minds saying we can't go back to that type of thinking.
The notorious slave catcher was one of the ringleaders of the reverse Underground Railroad,
You let me take them.
kidnapping free blacks and fugitive slaves and selling them back into slavery.
I do need to refer to them as it and property.
I'm going to take this down south and sell it. I could get a good 300 for it.
What really makes my heart soar is the audience reaction of truly realizing how stupid the mentality was.
Because of audience participation, the script for this production changes with each group of up to a dozen guests who begin the journey every 15 minutes. The show is recommended for children 7 and older. For Renee Kurth and Linda Koenig, this one-hour interactive experience will only enhance the continuation of their weeks-long bicycle trek that traces the network of paths, hideouts, and other historic sites highlighting the Underground Railroad.
It makes it more real.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
We both said we wish our other 2 biking buddies were able to be here to experience this as well.
Thank you.
God love you.
Thank you for helping me.
Welcome. You're welcome. You were so brave.
I almost felt like I was back in the 1800s when all of this went on in history. The acting was phenomenal.
It was very intense. It almost made you want to cry because of the struggles.
Yeah.
Free. Free.